next is our DISC test, right? Now, there's lots of different places that you can find the DISC assessment online. Okay, some of them are free, some of them are not, right? Just like the Enneagram, some of them are free, some of them are not. We want to keep this affordable, but at the same time, we want really great results. So we're going to encourage you to go to a place that this is a paid exam. Now, that said, okay, it may be different depending upon where we see that the best deal is offered or not offered. So we won't put a link here right now as to where that is, and you can kind of always reach out to your therapist or the person kind of directing your care to kind of help you know where the best place is to get those exams done at the time. All right, so let's talk DISC, okay? Just like the Enneagram, we see different types, okay? Except it's a numbered type, right? And in the DISC exam, we're not looking at a number type, we're looking at a letter type, so to speak. And instead of 9, we're looking at 4, and that's actually where the acronym DISC comes from, right? So we've got a couple of different ones here. All right, so we've got our D, I, S, and C. And it's kind of cool how they break this down because it'll kind of be in a pie chart. It starts off as like you go through the exam. It's a little different depending upon where you take the test, but if you go through a licensed DISC examiner, right, you can take that test online and then, well, you get your results and it kind of gives you a breakdown about where your strongest traits are, right? All right, so if we're looking at 1, we're looking at the D. The D is kind of what we would consider your dominant, right? So when we look at the dominant personality, this is your type E people, it's also described. Like these are people who take charge, they go into a circumstance, they're just kind of there, they get things done, right? Okay, so D kind of gets things done, okay? Your next is your I, right? And that's your influencer, right? Okay, so this is a person that kind of comes in there and is able to influence a circumstance and is able to kind of, you know, take a situation per se, read it, and then find out what they need to do to help someone as a group accomplish things, right? So they influence that group kind of going in that direction. Up next is kind of your steady person. So this person is a person that you can count on, right? Now you can count on all of them, just like what we saw with the Enneagram. They all kind of have their different places, but your steadiness person is like that person that you know what to expect, right? You know how they're going to act. You can predict it in a good way, right? It's not that we're going to prejudge all of that kind of stuff, but we can say that a steady person is typically going to behave in a similar fashion as they behaved before. So there you go. So that's the steadiness. The next one is, well, it's a little bit more in depth, I think. I personally have done these tests, and I'm an IC, all right? And this is your conscientious person, right? This is a person that kind of thinks about things from the perspective of what will influence the outcome of these things, right? So when you come down to it, you'll get different things like you'll have a DI or a DS or 2 types in essence, right? And they kind of interact. One is your inside self and one is your outside self, and there's just lots of different ways that we kind of see these things come together, right? These are overviews. Just like with the Enneagram, you're going to see that some people are like, wow, I don't like being put in a box, or I don't, you know, like, I don't want to, these personality exams, you know, here's the problem, guys. A lot of times we don't take the time to reflect and look at who we are through our behavior, okay? That's what these exams do. So, as we look at those things, remember, we're going to have you take these depending upon what tool we need. And here's the thing. We've got our 1 through 9 or our 4-part letter results. These results tell us a lot, okay? And I want to help you, and we all want to help you be the best that you can be. So, all of this is to help you stay in the fight. All of this is part of your anchored journey, right? All of this is filled out in your workbook, tracked in your workbook, and carried forward into your future with you as tools. So like we said before, we're gonna ask you to do different things. These things are both useful. They're not interchangeable, but they really are helpful. Thanks, guys. Stay in the fight.